When my husband and I moved into our new home in the Willow Creek subdivision, we were thrilled. The neighborhood was quiet, the lawns were manicured, and every house looked like it had come straight out of a magazine. After years of saving, we finally had our dream home, and to top it off, I wanted to add one finishing touch: a backyard pool. Nothing fancy, just a modest in-ground pool where our kids could splash around during the summer. But apparently, my dream was Karen's nightmare. Karen was the self-appointed queen of the Willow Creek HOA. Her actual title was HOA president. But she carried herself like she owned the entire neighborhood. She lived 2 houses down, always wore oversized sunglasses, and had a clipboard that never left her hand. She also had a reputation: every new homeowner got the talk. Within a week of moving in, I should have known better when I submitted my pool plans. I filled out every form, paid the fees, and waited for approval. 2 weeks later, I got a curt email: your request for a pool is denied due to aesthetic inconsistency with community standards. When I asked for clarification, Karen showed up at my door unannounced, clutching her clipboard like a sword. "This neighborhood has a certain look," she said, eyeing my backyard over my shoulder. "We don't want to set a precedent." I was stunned. Other homes had decks, pergolas, even fountains, but no pools. Apparently, that was against the aesthetic. I thanked her for her input and decided to install the pool anyway. After a consultation with the HOA's management company, turns out, Karen had overstepped. She needed a board vote, not just her signature, to deny me. The day construction began, Karen lost it. She stormed into my backyard, waving her phone. "I'm calling the HOA lawyer. You're violating community codes," she shrieked, as the workers tried to ignore her. I told her calmly, "Karen, I have the paperwork. It's approved." Her face turned red. "We'll see about that." Over the next few days, she escalated: emails, printed notices taped to my door, even calling the city inspector to report unpermitted work. Each time, I proved her wrong. But the final straw came when she sent me a certified letter, threatening to sue me for damaging the community's property values. That's when I decided, if she wanted attention, I'd give her plenty. I called the local news station, told them my story, and invited them to film a human interest piece about HOA harassment. They jumped at it. What I didn't know was that Karen's meltdown on camera would become the neighborhood's most viral spectacle ever. The morning the news van rolled up, I was already sipping my coffee on the porch, watching Karen pacing in her driveway like a cat ready to pounce. When she saw the Channel 7 logo on the side of the van, she froze. Her sunglasses slipped down her nose, revealing eyes wide with disbelief. The reporter, a cheerful woman named Jasmine, stepped out with a cameraman. "We're here for the HOA story," she said with a grin. "Oh, you're going to love this," I said. They set up in the backyard beside the half-finished pool. Jasmine did a few takes of me explaining the situation: how Karen had tried to block construction, threatened legal action, and even harassed the workers. I was calm, polite, factual. Jasmine nodded approvingly after each answer. But then Karen appeared. "Excuse me," she barked, marching into the yard uninvited. "You can't film this. This is private property and I represent the HOA." Jasmine turned, her professional smile never faltering. "Ma'am, we have permission from the homeowner." Karen's face twisted. "Well, I am the HOA president, and I'll have you arrested for trespassing." The cameraman didn't stop rolling. I tried to defuse it. "Karen, please. We're just telling our side of the story. You're defaming me," she shouted, pointing a shaking finger at the camera. "Turn that off right now." Neighbors began peeking over fences. Some even came out onto their decks with phones in hand. Jasmine kept her composure. "Ma'am, would you like to comment for the record?" That was the spark. Karen launched into a full-blown tirade about ungrateful residents. declining standards, and how one pool could ruin property values for everyone. Her voice carried down the street. Jasmine whispered to her cameraman, "Keep it rolling." When Karen noticed her neighbors filming her meltdown, she doubled down. "Don't you people understand? This is my neighborhood." The irony was cinematic. Jasmine thanked me after Karen finally stormed off, muttering about lawyers and restraining orders. She assured me the segment would air that evening. By sunset, word had spread across Willow Creek. Phones buzzed with texts. "Did you see Karen on Channel 7? Oh my God, she lost it. You're kind of a hero." That night, I sat on my couch watching Karen's tantrum play on the evening news. Her ranting face filled the screen as Jasmine narrated. Local HOA president clashes with homeowner over backyard pool. And just like that, the legend of HOA Karen was born. By the next morning, the clip had gone viral. Channel 7 uploaded it to their website. And within hours it was circulating on social media. Someone even made a TikTok remix of Karen's "This is my neighborhood" speech, complete with dance moves. At first, I was amused. Then came the fallout. Karen went into full damage control mode. She sent a mass email to all residents accusing me of orchestrating a smear campaign. She claimed the footage had been illegally recorded, and that she was consulting an attorney for defamation. It backfired spectacularly. Half the neighborhood started forwarding her email to each other, mocking her grammar and tone. The other half sent messages of support to me. "Honestly, thank you for standing up to her," one neighbor wrote. "She's been terrorizing us for years." Suddenly, everyone had a Karen story. The woman who fined a family for hanging Christmas lights too early. The guy who was written up for having unapproved garden gnomes. Even the elderly couple who got a notice because their mailbox paint was fading. For the first time, people weren't afraid of her. A few days later, Jasmine from Channel 7 called. "The story's getting a ton of traction," she said. "Would you be open to a follow-up?" I agreed, but this time, I wanted it to be about something bigger than just my pool. I wanted to highlight the problem of power-hungry HOAs and homeowners being bullied. Jasmine loved the angle. When the second segment aired, it featured interviews with other residents, legal experts, and clips of Karen's meltdown. The headline read, "When the HOA Goes Too Far, the Willow Creek Showdown." Karen was furious. She tried to hold an emergency HOA meeting. But only 3 people showed up, and one of them was there to film. The next week, her lawyer sent me a cease and desist letter demanding I retract defamatory statements. My own attorney laughed. "She doesn't have a case," he said. "She made those statements herself, on camera." It was the beginning of the end for her reign. The HOA board voted to hold a special election. And by an overwhelming majority, Karen was removed as president. She stopped patrolling the neighborhood and retreated indoors. Ironically, the pool was finished that same week. As I floated in the clear blue water, sipping lemonade, I couldn't help but smile. The whole thing had started as a dream of a backyard oasis. Now, it was a symbol of victory. But Karen wasn't done yet. I thought the drama had ended with Karen's removal. But trouble has a way of resurfacing. Especially when someone like her can't stand to lose. 2 weeks after the election, I noticed a letter taped to my mailbox. No HOA logo this time, just a handwritten note in all caps. "You think you won? This isn't over." I almost laughed. It had to be Karen. But I saved it, just in case. Later that day, I caught her sneaking around the side of my fence, taking pictures of the pool. When she noticed me watching, she bolted to her car and sped off. I reported it to the HOA's new president, Mark, who assured me they'd handle it. That weekend, the neighborhood threw a block party to celebrate new leadership. It was the most relaxed, joyful event Willow Creek had ever seen. Kids ran around, music played, And nobody had to worry about being out of compliance. People even joked about naming the pool the Karen Memorial Lagoon. But as the evening went on, Karen showed up. She walked straight up to me in front of everyone and said, "You've ruined my life." Her voice cracked, but her anger burned through. I stayed calm. "No, Karen. You did that yourself." Someone nearby filmed the exchange. Of course, it ended up online within hours. This time, though, the tone was different. Comments poured in about accountability, about how unchecked authority can spiral into obsession. Some even felt pity for her. A few days later, Jasmine reached out again. "We're doing a follow-up on what happened after the viral story," she said. I agreed, but I insisted on keeping it respectful. "I don't want to humiliate her," I told Jasmine. "I just want people to see that standing up for yourself doesn't make you a villain." The final piece aired under the headline, "From Feud to Freedom, a Neighborhood Learns to Heal." It showed the new cooperative HOA, the finished pool, and a short clip of me saying, "Sometimes peace looks like a little blue water and a lot less control." Karen never appeared on camera again. Rumor has it she sold her house quietly and moved to another neighborhood, hopefully one without a pool. As for me, every time I float on the water and see the reflection of the sky above, I remember that summer. It wasn't just about a pool, it was about boundaries, both literal and personal. And sometimes, the only way to calm turbulent waters is to make a splash first.